You know, there's something most of us were taught growing up that simply doesn't hold up anymore when it comes to taking care of ourselves after 60. We were told that if we just follow the food pyramid, eat our grains at the bottom and our fats sparingly at the top, our bodies would stay strong and healthy well into our later years. Doctors used to hang that pyramid right there on the clinic wall like it was gospel truth. But here's what researchers at places like Harvard School of Public Health and Tufts University have been discovering over the past decade. That old pyramid wasn't designed with our aging bodies in mind at all. It was built for a younger population living in a very different time. And many people quietly wonder if that's part of why they're feeling more tired, more unsteady, more dependent on others than they ever imagined they would be at this stage of life. Now, listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you comes directly from the United States Department of Agriculture and the Department of Health and Human Services. These aren't fringe theories or quick fixes. This is mainstream medical guidance that has evolved specifically to address what happens to our bodies as we move past 60. The truth is, your nutritional needs have changed in ways that the old food pyramid never acknowledged. And when you don't feed your body the way it actually needs to be fed, now, not 30 years ago, you start to see consequences that feel like inevitable aging, but are actually something much more reversible. Think about how it feels when you stand up from a chair and there's that moment of uncertainty, or when you're carrying groceries from the car and you have to stop halfway because your arms feel weak. A lot of older adults don't say this out loud, but there's a quiet fear that lives in those moments. It's the fear of losing your ability to do things for yourself, the fear of becoming a burden, the worry that one day soon you won't be able to stay in your own home because your body just won't cooperate anymore. I understand that fear because I hear about it every single day from people just like you. But here's what I want you to hold on to as we walk through this together. By the time we finish this conversation, you're going to understand exactly how the shift from that old pyramid to what's now called MyPlate can actually help you feel more capable in your daily life. And we're going to connect that nutritional foundation to gentle movement that doesn't feel like exercise at all, but supports your balance, your strength, and your confidence. This isn't about joining a gym or going on a restrictive diet. It's about understanding how to fuel your body so it can keep doing what you need it to do. Let me explain why this matters so much right now. The old food pyramid told us to eat 6 to 11 servings of bread, cereal, rice, and pasta every single day. That was the foundation. Then came fruits and vegetables, then dairy and protein, and finally, just a tiny bit of fat. That structure made sense when they were worried about people getting enough calories during harder economic times. But research suggests that for those of us over 60, this approach can actually work against us. All those refined grains at the base of the pyramid can cause our blood sugar to spike and crash, leaving us feeling exhausted and foggy. And when we feel exhausted, we move less. When we move less, we lose muscle. When we lose muscle, we lose our independence. It's a cycle that feels impossible to break, but it's not. Stay with me here, because the new MyPlate model flips this entire approach on its head in a way that makes so much more sense for our stage of life. Instead of a pyramid with grains at the bottom, MyPlate shows you an actual plate divided into sections. Half of that plate is vegetables and fruits. 1/4 is whole grains, not refined grains, but the kind that actually give you steady energy. And the final quarter is protein. Then there's a small circle off to the side representing dairy or a dairy alternative. This visual completely changes how we think about what a healthy meal looks like. Here's what most people don't realize about this shift. It's not just about moving food around on a plate. It's about prioritizing the nutrients that become harder for our bodies to absorb and use as we age. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that adults over 60 need more protein per pound of body weight than younger adults do, not less. Our muscles become resistant to the signals that tell them to rebuild and repair. That's a medical term called anabolic resistance. It means we can eat the same amount of protein we ate at 40 and get far less benefit from it. So we need to be more intentional about getting enough. This matters because muscle isn't just about looking strong or lifting heavy things. Muscle is what keeps you from falling. It's what lets you stand up from the toilet without holding on to the wall. It's what allows you to open a jar or carry your laundry basket it, or play on the floor with your grandchildren. Every time you lose a little bit of muscle mass, your world gets a little bit smaller. And that loss of routine, that loss of purpose, that simple physical freedom, it weighs on you emotionally, even if you never say it out loud. Now, let me walk you through what this actually looks like in practice, because knowledge without application doesn't change anything. When you sit down for lunch today, imagine your plate. Fill half of it with vegetables, maybe some steamed broccoli, a salad with dark leafy greens, roasted carrots, whatever you enjoy. These vegetables give you fiber, which keeps your digestive system working properly, and they provide vitamins and minerals that support everything from your immune system to your bone density. Then, take a quarter of that plate and add a portion of whole grains. This could be brown rice, quinoa, a small sweet potato, or a slice of whole grain bread. These complex carbohydrates give you energy that lasts, not the quick spike and crash you get from white bread or sugary snacks. Here's where it gets really important for maintaining your strength. The final quarter of your plate should be protein. This could be chicken, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, or even tofu if that's something you enjoy. Doctors often recommend that seniors aim for about 25 to 30 grams of protein at each main meal. That's roughly the size of a deck of cards worth of chicken or fish, or about 3 eggs, or a cup and a half of beans. This protein is what gives your body the building blocks it needs to maintain your muscle tissue. Without it, your body starts to break down the muscle you already have just to keep your vital organs functioning. And then that small circle on the side of the plate, that's your dairy or dairy alternative. A glass of milk, a cup of yogurt, some cheese. This provides calcium and vitamin D, which doctors often recommend for bone health. It's not uncommon to feel like your bones are more fragile than they used to be, even if no one talks about it. That's because after 60, we naturally lose bone density. But when you combine adequate calcium with the right kind of movement, which we're going to discuss in just a moment, you can slow that process significantly. Before we move forward, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Which part of this nutritional shift feels most surprising to you? Is it the emphasis on vegetables, the increased need for protein, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments, because your questions help me understand what matters most to our community. Now, here's where most nutrition advice stops, but we're not going to stop there, because food is only one half of the equation. The other half is movement. And I don't mean exercise in the traditional sense. I'm not talking about going to a gym or running on a treadmill or doing anything that feels intimidating or exhausting. I'm talking about daily movement that feels natural and safe and actually enjoyable. Research from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention suggests that seniors need 2 main types of movement to maintain independence. The first is activities that keep your heart and lungs healthy, like walking. The second is activities that maintain your strength and balance. Let me explain why this combination is so powerful when paired with the MyPlate approach to eating. When you eat adequate protein and then you move your body, even gently, you send a signal to your muscles that says, build, don't break down. It's like telling that construction crew we talked about earlier that materials are available and there's work to do. But when you eat protein and then sit still all day, your body doesn't get that signal as strongly. The nutrients are there, but the message to use them isn't clear. Here's what daily movement can look like for someone who maybe hasn't been very active or who worries about falling or getting hurt. Start with walking, just walking around your home or down your street or through a store. The recommendation from medical experts is to aim for about 30 minutes most days of the week, but you don't have to do it all at once. You can break it into 3 10-minute walks. You can walk to the mailbox, walk around the block, walk while you talk on the phone. Every step counts, because every step is telling your heart to stay strong and your legs to keep working. But walking alone isn't quite enough to prevent that muscle loss we've been talking about. You also need activities that challenge your muscles against resistance. Now, before you picture yourself lifting heavy weights, let me show you what this actually means in everyday life. It means standing up from a chair without using your hands. It means carrying your own groceries. It means doing gentle squats while you hold hold on to the kitchen counter. It means lifting light hand weights, maybe just 2 or 3 pounds, while you watch television. These movements don't have to be complicated or intense. Research has shown that even light resistance activity 2 or 3 times a week can significantly improve muscle mass and strength in older adults. Think about the relief you would feel if getting out of bed in the morning felt easier, if climbing a few stairs didn't leave you breathless, if you could lift a pot off the stove without your arms trembling. That independence, that confidence, that's what we're building here. And here's something that often gets overlooked, but is absolutely critical for preventing falls: balance work. Many people are terrified of falling and losing their independence, and that fear is completely valid. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury in older adults, but doctors often recommend simple balance exercises that you can do while holding on to a sturdy chair or counter. Things like standing on one foot for a few seconds, then switching, walking heel to toe in a straight line. These small practices train your body to react when you stumble. They give you that split second of stability that can mean the difference between catching yourself and hitting the ground. Let me give you an example of how this all comes together in a real day. Imagine you wake up and have a breakfast built on the MyPlate model. Maybe some scrambled eggs for protein, a piece of whole grain toast, and some berries. That breakfast is giving your body steady energy and the amino acids it needs to maintain muscle. Then later in the morning, you take a 10-minute walk around your neighborhood. You're moving your legs, strengthening your heart, getting some fresh air. At lunch, you follow the plate method again. Half vegetables, quarter whole grains, quarter protein, maybe some yogurt on the side. In the afternoon, you do some gentle strength work. Maybe you stand up and sit down in your chair 10 times without using your hands. Maybe you do some bicep curls with a light can of soup. It takes 5 minutes and it feels manageable. Then you take another short walk, maybe just to the mailbox or around your yard. At dinner, same plate structure. And before bed, maybe you practice standing on one foot while you brush your teeth, holding the counter for safety. That's it. That's a day of supporting your body's need for good nutrition and gentle movement. Nothing extreme, nothing that requires special equipment or a gym membership. Just consistent, kind attention to what your body needs now. Here's what happens over time when you approach your health this way. Your energy starts to feel more stable because you're not riding that blood sugar roller coaster from too many refined carbs. Your muscles start to feel a little firmer, a little more reliable because you're feeding them protein and asking them to work. Your balance improves because you're practicing it. Your confidence grows because you're doing things that used to feel hard and now they feel possible. If this information is helping you see your daily choices in a new light, please consider subscribing to this channel. I share research-backed health insights specifically for people over 60 who want to stay independent and capable for as long as possible. It's my sincere mission to make sure our generation has access to current, trustworthy information that actually applies to our lives. Now, I want to address something that I know is on many people's minds. What if you're dealing with health conditions that make some of this harder? What if you have arthritis that make movement painful, or diabetes that complicates your food choices, or heart issues that make you nervous about physical activity? First, always talk to your own doctor before making significant changes to your diet or activity level. That's not just legal advice, that's genuinely important for your safety. But second, understand that these principles can be adapted to almost any situation. If walking is painful, maybe seated exercises or water aerobics would work better for you. If you're managing diabetes, the MyPlate approach actually helps stabilize blood sugar better than the old pyramid did because it emphasizes whole foods over processed carbs. If you have heart disease, the emphasis on vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein is exactly what cardiologists recommend. The framework is flexible. It's not all or nothing. It's about finding what works for your specific body and your specific circumstances. Let me talk about something that many older adults experience but rarely discuss openly: loneliness, and how it affects our willingness to take care of ourselves. When you're cooking for one, it can feel pointless to prepare a full meal following the plate method. When you don't have people around encouraging you to stay active, it's easy to just sit in the chair all day. I understand that. Many people in our community are living alone. maybe for the first time in decades, the loss of routine, the loss of social connection, it makes everything harder. But here's what I want you to consider. Taking care of your body through good nutrition and gentle movement isn't just about your physical health. It's about maintaining your ability to stay connected to the world. When you feel stronger and more energetic, you're more likely to call a friend, go to a community event, visit family, pursue hobbies you enjoy. Your physical capability directly impacts your social and emotional well-being. So when you prepare that balanced plate of food or take that walk around the block, you're not just protecting your muscles and bones, you're protecting your connection to life itself. Which of these ideas feels most relevant to where you are right now? Are you someone who needs to focus more on the nutrition side, or is movement the bigger challenge? Let me know in the comments, because we're all in this together, learning from each other's experiences and supporting each other's journeys. As we move toward wrapping up our time together, I want to make sure you understand the bigger picture of what we've covered. The shift from the food pyramid to MyPlate isn't just about following new rules. It's about understanding that your body has different needs now than it did when you were 30 or 40. You need more protein to fight muscle loss. You need more fruits and vegetables for vitamins and fiber. You need whole grains for sustained energy instead of refined carbs that leave you crashing. And you need to move your body in ways that maintain strength and balance, not because someone says you should, but because movement is what keeps you independent. This is about taking back control of your narrative. You are not a car that's just running out of gas with no options left. You are a person with agency and choice. The medical community now understands so much more about how to support healthy aging than they did when that old pyramid was created. You have access to better information, better guidance, and better strategies than any previous generation of seniors has ever had. That's something to feel hopeful about. I've seen these principles change lives. I've watched people who were afraid to leave their homes because they felt so unsteady become confident enough to travel again. I've seen people who thought they would never feel energetic regain a sense of vitality they hadn't experienced in years. This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen through perfection. It happens through small, consistent choices that add up over time. One balanced meal, one short walk, one moment of gentle strength work, day after day, building a foundation of capability. The anxiety about healthcare costs, about becoming dependent on others, about losing your place in the world, those are real concerns that so many of us carry. But the beautiful truth is that investing in your nutritional health and your daily movement is one of the most cost-effective, powerful things you can do to maintain your independence. You're not guaranteed any specific outcome. Nobody can promise that. But research suggests that people who follow these principles have better strength, better balance, better energy, and better quality of life as they age. Those outcomes are worth the effort of changing some habits. As we close, I want to remind you that this journey isn't about shame or blame for how you've eaten or moved in the past. The old food pyramid was what we all knew. You did the best you could with the information you had. But now you have new information. Now you understand that your plate should look different, that your protein needs are higher, that gentle daily movement is medicine for your muscles and your mood. You have everything you need to make tomorrow a little bit better than today. I'm grateful you spent this time with me. It truly is an honor to be part of your health journey. Remember that every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body the way it needs to be nourished now. Every time you stand up from a chair or walk to the door or practice your balance, you're investing in your future independence. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent and kind to yourself. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone who might be wondering how to stay strong and capable as they age. We need to look out for each other and share what we learn. And when you're ready to continue this conversation, click the next video on your screen. We're going to talk about the single most common mistake people make that undermines all this good work and how to avoid it starting today. I'll meet you there to keep building your strength, your confidence, and your independence.